In this video, we're going to cover the writing strategy and question type. Again, as I told you before, the writing section does not require a lot of theory. I'm pretty much just spending 2 videos in this section. Okay, so in the previous video, we covered the writing overview, like what the writing is about, which sections it contains, and what question types it contains. Here, we're going to see the specific strategy. So the general strategy is taking notes while listening, looking for the keywords, both in the notes and in the text. Go to a specific part in your notes, both for the integrated task and the independent task. Prepare order and vocabulary while we type, and be mindful of our time, meaning check the time and make sure not to spend too much time in one specific part of the text, so we have time to finish the whole thing. Now we're going to cover the specific strategy to each task and to each question. So remember, there are two writing tasks. The first is the integrated task. You will be provided a reading and a lecture, and you have to report disagreement, which means you will be reading a passage first about a certain topic, and then you will listen to a class in a lecture on the same topic. Now, the lecture is going to contradict points that are provided in the reading, and what you're being asked to do is to report that disagreement. So all you have to do is to report how the lecture contradicts the reading. That's it. You do not give your opinion. You do not give any extra information. Even if you have extra reasons or extra examples that contradict the reading, or even if you're against the lecture and the points that it's making in order to contradict the reading, you are not going to provide it. Okay? You're only going to use the information that is provided here. In the independent task, you'll be asked to give your opinion on a certain topic, and you'll be asked to give specific reasons and examples. This is very much like the independent task in the speaking section. Remember the independent task, like they say, do you agree or disagree? Provide reasons and examples. So it's pretty much the same, but this time, instead of just talking for 45 seconds about it, you will have to write a 300-word essay on it. Okay, now we're going to see the strategy for the first task. So the strategy for integrated task. Remember, the integrated task is the first one. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a few notes of the reading. Why just few? Because the reading will always be there, okay? They're going to make you read. And yes, you do want to take certain notes, especially because you cannot highlight the screen, and you want to make sure to get the keywords and the specific points that it's making. But you don't have to take a lot of notes, because you will be always be able to go and read the reading, okay? So they won't remove it. You will be always have access to it. The second thing, you want to take notes by hand while listening. You cannot take notes on the computer because you won't have access to the editing program yet, so you want to take notes by hand. Again, take notes of the listening depending on the notes that the reading says. So the reading is going to say, okay, reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, and the listener is going to say, okay, reason 1 is wrong, reason 2 is wrong, reason 3 is wrong. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're just going to contrast those 2 points. When you do the draft, you're going to do the draft with the specific reasons and examples. Again, the specific reasons and examples from the reading and the listening. What you're going to do is you first do the draft, then you're going to improve your draft, which means you're pretty much just going to check that you have all the specific reasons and examples. Then you're going to check your reasons and examples. And finally, you want to check order, grammar, and vocabulary. Now, you will have 20 minutes to complete this task. As to time, you want to spend the last 5 minutes or even less than last 5 minutes here. Okay, like checking your grammar, vocabulary, and order should take you less than the last 5 minutes. You should take the first 10 minutes to do your specific draft, and like 5 to 10 minutes, and then another 5 to 10 minutes here to improve the draft and check for reasons and examples. I know the numbers don't match if you take them at the maximum, like 10 plus 10 plus 5. But this means like you're going to take, okay, maybe if you take 10 minutes for the first draft and it's a very good draft, maybe you just require 5 minutes to improve your draft. Or maybe you take 8 minutes to take a draft, and then 8 minutes, and then you just have to, maybe this is not 5 minutes, but 1 to 5 minutes, because maybe you don't have any mistakes. Maybe you just need 3 extra minutes, and then you go back and improve your draft, okay? But remember, you do not, try not to get caught into constantly checking your grammar or checking your vocabulary or even checking your spelling, okay? Don't even check your spelling. Just go ahead and focus on the ideas. Okay, Now, the strategy for the independent task, you're going to take notes directly on the computer. This is very important. This is how it changes. You don't want to take notes by hand because at the end of the day, you're going to have to write on the computer. So you don't want to waste time transcribing your notes from the paper to the computer. So you just want to go take notes directly on the computer. You're going to take notes orderly. I'm going to show you how. Don't worry too much about that now. But remember, the most important thing is take them directly on the computer. Like start kind of... your notes will actually start the draft. Okay, like your notes are all the first draft that you're going to have. That's how you're going to create the draft. You're going to create a draft focusing on opinion, reasons, and examples. Now, it's not just one opinion, one reason, and one example, but you definitely want to keep those in track. Remember what I told you about the speaking section? Like you have to have I have to cover my opinion, my reason, example, and as long as I have those three, then I'm good. So you create your draft. Again, the note taking, maybe it's going to be like 1 to 5 minutes. Okay. And then the actual creation of the draft will be 10 minutes. Okay. And then the improving of the draft will be, again, 5 to 10 minutes. And you want to check the opinions, the reasons, and examples. This goes in the improving of the draft. And then checking the order, grammar, and vocabulary should take you between 2 to 5 minutes. Again, remember, for the independent task, you will have 30 minutes. So you have 10 more minutes than for the previous task. Okay, now we are going to apply the strategy to specific questions. We're going to see the first task. The first task is the integrated task, and it looks like this. You will have actually, I'm going to play the directions, okay? I'm going to play the directions, and then you're going to see how it looks like what exactly it looks like. So these are the directions.
Directions. For this task, you will read a passage and listen to a lecture about an academic topic. You may take notes during this time. After the passages have finished, you will then be asked a question about them. After the question, you have 20 minutes to write your response. Effective responses are usually between 200 to 350 words. You may look at the reading passage and your notes as you write. Keep in mind that the question will not ask for your opinion. You have 3 minutes to read. You may begin reading now.
Okay, so you will begin reading, and this is what the reading looks like. You have 3 minutes. In the case of this video, which I'll provide links for this video in the description of this video, it's separated into 2 parts. So you have 3 minutes total. You have 1.5 minutes to read the first part and 1.5 minutes to read the second part. Now, we're not really going to perform this time. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to pause the video. Okay, and I want you to take notes on this and this. Before I let you pause the video and before you take notes, I want you to remember the notes that you want to take. You do want to take notes, okay? But the notes you want to take, and remember, you may always see it. You may always going to see the reading. So you're going to take few notes. You're going to write this. You want to focus on finding one reason, example. So reason 1, example 1. Reason 2, example 2. There's a mistake here. Like reason 3, example 3. Okay, you want to make sure of just copying the main points on reasons and examples. Okay, now you can pause the video right here. I want you to pause the video here and just find all the reasons and all the examples that are provided. Okay. Well, now I suppose you already paused it and play it again. And now I want you to pause the video here. Okay, and find all the reasons and examples. Again, we're just giving an overview. You can do the full test in the link I'm sharing, and also in other links I will be sharing at the end of this video. Okay, now the reasons you should have copied may look something like, or should look something like, again, not exactly like, just something like this. So these are the reasons and examples taken from the reading. So the first reason, that is much safer. So it's much safer. It talks about the studies that most crashes are due to human error and software creates no mistakes. And as an example, it tells that one car went over 700,000 miles with no accident. Reason number 2, environment. It's because it's more efficiently, the driverless cars are more efficient or drive more efficiently. And typically a person who drives a car stops and starts the engine, therefore creating pollution, and driverless can communicate with other driverless cars and therefore stop less often and do a higher speed. And finally, the third reason, time. Because since humans are not going to focus on driving, they will be able to read, watch videos, or work while they're in the driverless cars, and that the average time commuting in the US is 30 minutes, so they will be able to use those time. It's 30 minutes on the go and on the return. Okay, those are my notes on the reading. Now what we're going to listen to the lecture. So what follows is you have the lecture. The lecture looks like this, and I'm going to play it now. Okay, listen to the lecture.
Now listen to part of a lecture on the same topic you just read about. A lot of people are very excited about driverless cars, but most of the media attention and praise ignores the problems with driverless cars. The author seems to believe that autonomous cars will cure all of our driving troubles, when nothing could be further from the truth. Take the idea that driverless cars will be safer. Remember, all computer software is designed by humans, so any type of automatic guidance system within driverless cars will be prone to error. For example, the driverless car mentioned by the author, the one that drove over 700,000 miles without an accident, actually hit another car just last month. It was all over the news because it makes everyone doubt just how safe driverless cars actually are. And what about the idea that driverless cars will reduce pollution? Well, some studies suggest that more people will begin to drive once driverless cars become available. Since people will no longer need a driver's license to get behind the wheel, age restrictions for both young and old will no longer matter. More people will be on the road, and it will increase the amount of cars. Pollution levels may actually increase with driverless cars, even if they drive in a more fuel-efficient manner. As for the extra time the driverless cars are supposed to give us, well, that may be such a benefit after all. You see, most people nowadays find driving relaxing. They enjoy driving their car while listening to music or talk radio. It's a welcome distraction from the usual routine. Once people start to use driverless cars, it becomes another space to do work or watch videos, which is how most people already spend most of their day. I'm afraid that this extra time in driverless cars will just be another way to work or waste time. Now,
Okay, so given the lecture, your notes should be on the points that they're against, reasons, and examples. So points they're against, reasons, and examples. I'm going to show you my notes against your notes. Should look something like, not exactly like, but should be something like this. So the points made in the lecture are like this. It's against the reason of being safer. Again, remember, this is the first reason. Like the first reason in the reading was that it was much safer. So the listening is directly responding to the reading. It's not even like letting you understand whether it's responding to the reading or not. It's like attacking direct points on the reading. So it's much safer. The reason that it gives is that all computer software is designed by humans, therefore is prone to error. Reason one. The example is that the car that the previous that the reading gave us an example actually hit another car last month, therefore it's making that house safe. The second reason is pollution. Again, remember, the second thing that is against is pollution. Remember that the reason that they gave was environment, and pollution. So again, it's attacking directly one of the reasons in the ratings. So it says that studies show that more people will begin to drive, and since there's no license required, there are no age restrictions, therefore more people, therefore more cars, therefore more pollution, even if it's fuel efficient. And the third reason, or the third thing that is against, is the extra time. Again, remember, this is also a reason given in the reading. And what does it say about the extra time? It says that, okay, yes, but you will have extra time, but actually driving is relaxing for people because they listen to music or they listen to the radio or chat, and the driverless cars will actually lead to people work, watching videos, or waste time. So it's actually not such a good idea. Okay, now the thing that we're going to do, we're going to go to the question first. We're going to see the question. What does the question look like? And the question is important. So the question says, after you listen to the passage, answer the question. Summarize the points made in the lecture. Summarize the points. Being sure to explain how they cast doubt on the specific points made in the reading passage. Okay? So we summarize the lecture and we say how it contradicts or it goes against the passage. And now I want you to create your draft. Your draft will look something like this. You will have a kind of, lecture of points one. So like thing that the reading says, thing that the listening says, reason. Okay, same thing. Reason two, It was the pollution. Okay, so pollution. I'm going to talk about reason example. Reason 3, it's going to be the extra time, and the reason and the example. Okay, now your draft. Okay, I want you to try to copy your draft. Your draft will look something like this. Actually, I made another extra. This was before. And your draft should be just going with the notes. Remember, just take notes. Okay, now we're going to go to the second task. Remember, the second task is the independent task. So you're no longer going to read anything, or you're not going to, and you're no longer going to listen to anything. You're just going to give your opinion. This is very similar to the independent task in the speaking section. So what does it look like? It looks like this. You will have a kind of a statement and then your opinion. So it says, typically, sorry. What does the question look like this? Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Our current way of life have a negative impact on future generations, and use specific reasons and examples to support your essay. Be sure to use your own words. Do not use memorized examples. So this is the statement, and the question is, do you agree or disagree with the statement? So what you will do, you will find reasons and examples to agree or disagree. Now, what do your notes look like, or what they should look like? Remember, it's just like the notes on the speaking section. You have to have an opinion, agree, I disagree. You have to have a reason, example, reasons, and example. Okay. Again, you can pause the video and try to come up with your own opinion, reason, and example. And I'm going to show you what your notes may look like. In this case, they don't even should look something similar like this. I'm just giving an example of how to take notes. So you will have my opinion, either agree or disagree. Reason 1, I'm going to agree because of pollution, and I'm going to disagree because we're solving pollution. And now I'm going to explain how the same example, or how the same, I can take into account the same fact and take it for 2 different positions. So I'm going to say, more pollution, therefore I'm not going to have fresh air for the future. But if I disagree, I'm going to say, okay, there is pollution, yes, but pollution is being solved with technological advances. So I'm going to use the same kind of idea of pollution existing. And if I want, I'm going to use it to agree with the fact that we are negatively impacting the future generations by saying, okay, more pollution, so people in the future won't have fresh air. Or I can kind of take it from a positive point of view and say, yes, there is pollution, definitely, but it's being solved with technological advances. So I'm going to use the fact, I'm going to try to see it from my point of view, like from the point of view that I have chosen. Again, remember, if you don't neither agree or disagree, just flip a coin and choose a side. Okay, an example of the second reason will be, okay, maybe I'm saying that there's an overuse of technology, and therefore people are not connecting, they're being more antisocial. Or maybe I disagree and I say, yes, but there's a reasonable technology. Again, I'm going to use technology, the fact of technology, in those 2 different ways. Okay, like saying my brothers are not connecting, or I can say, okay, maybe my brothers are connecting more due to technology. Okay, so remember, we can use kind of the same topic and look at it from different points of view. And again, you don't have to have a real opinion. They don't care if you lie. You can take someone else's position as long as you provide a position, an opinion. Now, what does the draft look like? I want you to do a draft like this. Again, as I told you, since this is not requiring you to take notes on the reading on any listening, you're going to go straight to the computer. So these notes, okay, should be in the draft. So your draft should be something like, okay, this is my opinion, this is my reason 1, and this is my reason 2. And this, like exactly like this, well, not exactly like this, but this exactly like the ones you have in your notes should be on the computer. And from then on, you're just going to work on the draft. Okay, so in your brainstorming, when you get the different ideas, the different possible examples, you want to just to put them like, I have an idea. Let's say this is me and I'm thinking of an idea. As soon as I have an idea, I just want to locate, okay, does this go for the opinion? Does this go for reason 1? Or does this go for reason 2? Or maybe I do have an extra reason 3. I may have more than 2 reasons. I'm just giving an example. So as soon as you get your brainstorming, you just want to put them into the text. Now, I think that works. Try to be orderly. Okay, try not to put the reasons like this, for example, like one after the other. Like try to use bullet points, like, okay, reason 1, reason 2, example 1, example 2. You can even have more than one examples. Actually, try to have more than one examples and then decide which ones you will use. Okay. Remember, for both, you take notes. Remember to give your opinion only when they ask for your opinion. Remember to give specific reasons and examples. Remember to be specific. And a specific example is not people in general go to work, and a specific example is I go to work, my dad goes to work, etc. Remember to check the time. Again, don't check the time every minute or every 5 minutes, but do have an overall idea of, okay, by minute 10, I should already have a good draft. By minute 15, I should already have a revised draft. And in the case of the second task that is 30 minutes, by minute 25, I should already finish. I should take the last 5 minutes, or maybe at minute 27, I should have already finished. And I'm going to use the last 3 to 5 minutes just to check. And remember, check grammar and spelling last. Why is this so important? Because grammar and spelling is not that important. So unless you have one mistake in every single sentence, if you just have like 2 mistakes overall, it's not going to matter. You can still get a perfect score. So you don't want to like obsess over the grammar and spelling. Another thing for checking the grammar and spelling last is because you don't want to waste time, because that's not the most important thing. And you don't want to switch your brain modes from checking the structure to checking the content. Okay, so that's it. I will share the links that we've used on the description. Remember, you can use YouTube practice tests. I'm going to share those on the description too. This is it. Like, this is the final video for the TOEFL preparation series, although I do have an extra video for the poll that I'm going to post probably today. And we're going to continue with the other exams. Okay, so remember to share, subscribe, and leave any comments or any questions that you may have. Okay, thank you. Bye.